Okay, we've got stamping and acrylic and gel and all sorts of stuff going on here. Now I know that plate's out of focus, but these lights, when they reflect off of that, it's just crazy. So I'm going to stamp with some Essie Expressi polishes in number 90 and 70, two different tones of brown. I think in a previous video I called them espressi, like espresso, so I apologize. It is Expressi. But anyway, I have a medium brown and a dark brown. So I'm going to take the medium brown first, and I'm going to stamp a wood grain on top of the gray gel that I already have on my nails. Now you're thinking gray sounds a little weird for tree bark, but quite honestly, if you go outside and look at your trees, most of them are kind of grayish, not so much tan. So that's why I started with the gray. I put that medium brown down, cleaning off our silicone stamper with our lint roller, taking some acetone to clean off the polish from the plate. And then we'll go ahead and on top of this, I'm going to stamp the dark brown. So the reason is because when I stamped just one color, the image looked very flat. So I stamped the light brown or the medium brown, and then I stamped the dark brown on top, but I purposefully did not perfectly line them up. So it's almost as if like the light brown almost undershadows the dark brown. So what it ends up doing, and you really can't see it here, I know, but it gives it a more three-dimensional look, a little more, less flat. So I thought it looked good. So now I'm going to go ahead and clean up my cuticles because I forgot to either put a protective sticker around my nails or the paint on skin protector. I just totally forgot. I was just excited in a hurry. So I have to do it this way, but that's okay. It's just regular nail lacquer. It's not a big deal. So we'll get that off of there. I know it's a little blurry. The camera just is having issues, but there you go. So that gives you an idea of the direction we're going in. So here they are finished. So now we've got the two colors of brown on the gray. So next step, we've got White Lightning, which is Kirsty Meakin's white acrylic. We've got her fantasy nail forms. These are new on her website. I'm not getting paid to use any of these products. This is one of the forms right there. They are a whole set of flexible forms that are in all the different shapes of all your nails so that you can do art on the form. I'm going to show you how, and then transfer it to your nail. Just makes it super easy. So I've got my my monomer, I've got my Kirsty Meakin White Lightning acrylic. Like I said, I'm not getting paid for any of these products or anything, but hey, if anybody wants to, Kirsty, if you're listening, I'd be happy to take some of your products and show them. But anyway, I'm making my little flowers right now, and I'm just getting teeny tiny dots of the acrylic, and as it is setting up, I'm shaping it into the form of the petals for these flowers. It's kind of a pansy sort of flower, 3 petals down. Once those petals dry, I'll put 3 more petals on top in opposition to the first 3 that I put down, and you'll see how this works in a minute. Now, why these forms are so great is because you can pick ones that match the forms, the shape of each nail, so there's no guessing as to what that curve is going to be. You match it to what the nail is that you're working on, whether it is a full color cover tip or if it's going to be your natural nails. These are my natural nails that I keep gel on top of, and so this size form seemed to work pretty good. I have tried using boba tea straws in the past. You may have seen me do that on a video. Boba tea straws are great so long as you don't put them down because they roll. which is a big problem if you're doing this in gel. So if you're using a hybrid gel to create things like this, you have to cure it. So you have to kind of hold on to it while it's curing in your lamp. You can't just put it down. Whereas since these are nail shaped, if you are doing something that needs to cure, you can just stick it in the lamp and it's not a big deal. So I've got a few more here that are closer to being done. The top one's done. The middle one had a few more petals to go, but now I've got them all on here, enough for both hands, and they are all dry because I did use the acrylic. Her acrylic is wonderful, so now I'm going to dress them up a little bit. Kirsty's acrylics are just very nice to work with. So this is just a gel polish paint, and I'm just going to go in here and give these a little color. Don't bash me for the bottom side of my nails here. These are my natural nails, and what I do like to do, because it does look kind of icky, is after my nails are done, I like to go in with a nail lacquer and paint the bottom side to match the top side, but I usually do that last. So I'll paint them in, they'll look fine, don't worry about it. And I do use lacquer, not gel, because I inevitably end up touching my hyponychium in the underneath side of my finger. So I can clean it up really easily if it's lacquer. And I don't have to worry about allergies or anything like that. So as you can see, I'm just going in and touching these petals with a little bit of this purple. Let's see if I can show you one of the flowers in a bit here, what I'm going to do with that. Okay, so I'm going right in, just like I did with the individual petals, and tucking right into the base of them with my purple gel. So you can start to see the details on the flowers a little more. I know it's difficult, the white on white isn't so great, but now it's starting to take shape. So let me move on and do the rest of them so I don't bore you. So here we are, they're all done. And now I'm just going to twist the fantasy nail form, and they're all going to pop off. There you go. Now the bigger flowers are popping off really easily. The little ones are sticking a little bit more, but I'll get them. But that's it. You just twist and everything pops off. Easy peasy. And there we go. Little static electricity today, but you get the idea. So now I have all of these little flowers that all have the perfect curve on the back side, and I didn't have to sit and wait for acrylic to set on each nail and try to match up my nails so that I did the same thing on each nail, on each hand. So this just made this so much easier. Yay, Kirsty. These are awesome. So now I'm going to stick them on, but before I stick them on, see kind of what they're going to look like? I'm going to do a little stamping. I want some leaves underneath them, but I didn't want to do 3D leaves because I thought it would take away from the flowers. So I'm going to stamp some leaves onto my fingers around where the flowers are going to go before I put the flowers on. So this is number 77 from Clear Jelly Stamper. I don't know, I think the plate is from Amazon, but I've got my flexible swiper and my silicone stamper. You saw me do this earlier. So we'll do it again real quick here just to give you a primer again on how to stamp. So I've got my plate, it's nice and clean. I've got my polish. You just have to use a highly pigmented polish. Clear Jelly Stamper has really great polishes. Maniology has great polishes. I did find that those Essie polishes, the Expressi ones, are pretty well pigmented too, so they work really well, as you can see, because that's how I stamped the wood grain on my nails. So now I'm just isolating one of the leaves by picking up all the bits I don't want to transfer, and then just pressing it onto my nail. Now, in other videos, I've used a sticky base coat, but I didn't do that here because I'm just doing these individual little flowers really quickly, and the polish is still staying wet enough, tacky enough, that I can just transfer them directly onto my nail, my gel polish. If I was doing something more involved, like when you pick up the image and then you paint in little bits, you back paint it, that takes longer and the lacquer does dry, and then it's tricky to transfer to your nail. So in that case, you definitely want your sticky base coat. But for what I'm doing here, I've learned that if I just work quickly and smush them on, then I don't have any issues with them not transferring. So see, super easy. So now you can see, or you will in just a minute, you'll see about how these flowers are going to go on with the little leaves around them. So now I just need to stamp the rest of them. So here they are. I've got my trees and I've got my leaves, and now I need a couple of flowers. So I have some options for how I'm going to attach these, but I'm heading back to Kirsty Meakin for my glass slipper clear acrylic to attach them with. So I could use nail glue to attach them. I am not so keen on using gel to attach them because gel has to cure under the lamp, and these are on the bigger side, so they're going to block the light from getting to the gel. So I'm afraid I'm going to end up with uncured gel under them, and I'm not going to get a really good bond. So by dropping a tiny little bit of acrylic on there, the acrylic is going to bond. It is going to just naturally set. It does not need to be cured, so it will lock in my flowers here. And it's going to hold them pretty tight. I'm not really going to have to worry too much about these things popping off if I do it right. So there you can see a tiny little dot of clear. And I'm using the clear, of course, because if I squish it out from underneath there, no one's going to know. And because it takes a few seconds to start setting, I can move them around a little to get them into the place I want them. If I had used nail glue, the amount of time I have to move them into place is much smaller. So you really got to stick them where you want them and not move them too much. So this gives me the opportunity to, sorry, I'm off the frame there, but it gives me a chance to just move them around a little bit and before they start setting. So as you can see, the other ones are starting to set up. I think I'm happy with that. So let's go ahead and put on one of the little petals here. So again, this is a good time where the clear is handy because the petals are so little. It will probably show underneath. Oh, sorry, dog. And let's do one more, I think, on my index finger. Can we all agree I need a new camera? Yes. This is frustrating. But There it is. I pushed it on. I've got it where I want it. And it's gonna set up here, and we'll go ahead and finish them up. Okay, so they're all on. Got all my flowers and my leaves and my trees. Why trees behind my flowers? I don't know, I just thought it would look good. Although trees are not glossy, are they? I'm not done yet though. I'm going back to those Essie Expressi colors I used before. Now I've got 2 of Kirsty's large fantasy nail forms, like thumb size fantasy nail forms. And what I've done here is on a clear piece of plastic, I pulled up that picture on my phone, which has some meaning. And I put the clear piece of plastic on top of my phone, and I traced with a Sharpie marker the shape that I wanted. Now this is really easy because it is a rough shape. It's really basic, but if you had something that was more detailed, you get the idea of what you can do. You can trace the image onto clear plastic from your phone or from whatever, and then I taped it onto the bottom form so it wouldn't move around. And now on the top form, I brushed on a coat of clear gel polish and cured it. And now I'm going in with my Essie Expressi. See how I did that there? I'm going in with my Essie Expressi, and I'm just painting in what was in that picture that I showed you. Now, if you're doing something more detailed than this, you might want to tape your 2 nail forms together, because you can see I slid them a few times there. Again, this image isn't such a big deal, but if you were doing something that was more of a big deal, yeah, you might want to tape them together, little double stick tape, and then nothing will slide around while you can do your artwork. Now I'm using the dark brown, and then I'm going to go back in here and grab some of my light brown. And I may have to add a little black to it too. But if I do the black, I'll probably just go in with a black Sharpie marker, because I'll just want a little bit. But you get the idea, right? So once I have this completely done, I will top coat it, and then you will see that we will end up with a decal to go on my thumb that is in the shape of my thumb and does not require that I bend the image or do anything weird to try and get it around my thumb, because sometimes when you do that you get the rippling where the flat shape doesn't curve. So these are great because they take care of that for you. And as you can obviously see, this is bigger than a boba tea straw, because if I tried to use a boba tea straw to do this, it's going to be too skinny, too round, and again, if this is flexible enough, yeah, I can flatten it onto my finger. But if I was to do this in acrylic, no. On a boba tea straw, there's no way I'd be able to flatten out that curve to get it across my thumb. Okay, so now I have it done. I'm going to give my form a little bit of a twist. You may not be able to see it, but I can see the air moving up underneath the clear gel polish. And look at that. Just slides right off. And now I have my form, my little decal, to put on my nail. Now I'm going to trim all that excess off because I don't need it. And I did do this in clear. And I don't know if you noticed yet, but my thumb, my right hand, my nails are matte. So I matte top coated my nails because, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, trees are not usually shiny. So I matte coated everything. I did not matte coat my thumb yet because I want this image to go on as clear as I can. So I did it in a glossy polish, and we will attach it with a glossy polish, and then we will top coat it in that matte polish when it's all put together. So there we go. So again, this was a really simple image, but you can imagine if you're doing something more detailed, how you can pull this off really easily. So I'm just getting my clear gel polish on my nail. You could do this with lacquer. I don't see why not, as long as you get it on there before it's too dry. No, I think I have a piece of fluff. Okay, that looks better. So I'm going to try and place this on without getting any air bubbles stuck underneath it. So I applied it from one end to the other just to make sure. And now I'm just going to move it into place. And once I have it exactly where I want it, so yes, could I have painted this on my nail? Yes, I could have, but I wanted to show you how these forms work. And again, like I said, this was a really easy thing to do. And if you had something more detailed that you couldn't just paint on your nail and you felt more comfortable transferring, this is a great way to do it. So here we go. Everything has been matte top coated. I know it's a little hard to see here on the image, but in person, this makes more sense. It's easier to see. But anyway, I just wanted to show you how smoothly that decal laid down on my finger. So these are great fantasy nail forms from Kirsty Meakin. They're pretty cool. I enjoyed using them. I will definitely use them some more. And her acrylics, so I used her White Lightning and her Glass Slipper. And I used my Essie Expressi nail polishes and a couple of stamping plates. So we got all sorts of crazy stuff going on. So here we go. See you next time.